My friends, we have quite a bit to discuss with you this morning, and we will form that discussion right after this. Hello my friends, Jerry Rosa here in the Rosa String Works Workshop. It is Monday, February 13th. Yeah, February's almost half over with already. It's crazy how fast this is going these days. I just see my life just passing in front of my eyes. Hey, I said I've got a lot to discuss with you. I've got a lot of short topics. First one is, did you see that Itchy Boots put out a short and she's going to be back on YouTube on Wednesday? So for the Itchy Boots fans out there, and I know there's quite a few of them, start watching her videos again this coming Wednesday. For those of you who don't know who Itchy Boots is, she rides motorcycles all over the world and films some really great scenery and, films her little escapades as she goes through the different countries. I don't know where she's filming this year. She's keeping it secret, so we'll find out on Wednesday. So I put a link in the description of this video, so you should be able to at least get to her channel, and you can watch some of her back episodes if you would like to do that. Speaking of other YouTubers, well, I want to tell you about Culver Props. Elena, a young gal, used to be Elena Smith. Quite honestly, I don't know her married name. But anyway, Elena is into building propellers for all kinds of airplanes. I mean, especially vintage old-time planes and ultralights and things like that, and even airboats, I think. She builds wooden propellers, and she's very busy. It's just a one-girl shop. I'm putting a link in the description for Culver Props. I've discussed her on the channel before. She is a friend. Her grandfather was a real good friend. His name was Gene Smith, and her grandfather was just an absolute mechanical genius, and I can't even stress that enough. He was the Einstein of mechanics, and that is the truth. I seldom get stumped on mechanics myself. I usually can get right through it. But if I did get stumped, he was the only person I would call. There's no point in calling anybody else. You just call Gene. He would always have the answer. It was amazing how much he knew about mechanics and everything that related to mechanics. It didn't really matter. And he built ultralight airplanes, and he was the innovator of the year up at Oshkosh. They had him on the cover of the magazine. He's just a genius, absolute total genius. Of course, he passed away, and he was quite a bit older than me. I'm going to say he was at least 20 years older than me. Bottom line is, we all expected that we would get the news any day that he was killed in an ultralight plane crash at his age, No, he was killed falling out of the bucket of a high lift on the front of a tractor. He was in the bucket pruning trees or something on the farm, and somehow he slipped and fell out of the bucket, and it killed him. Yeah, what a sad way to go for such a fine genius man. It's really a sad deal. Well, anyway, that's his granddaughter that's running Culver Props now. He bought the whole company because he had always bought Culver Props for his planes, and then one day he couldn't get a hold of them, and turned out they were retiring, going out of business, so he drove all the way, I think, to Pennsylvania or somewhere like that, and bought the whole company and brought it back here to Missouri. Improved all the machinery as you would expect him to, as him being such a mechanical genius. He took their prop carving machine and changed it from a very, rough carving to a nearly finished carving, really. It's just amazing how much he improved that machine, because I saw the before and the after, and I saw the machine firsthand as he worked on it. Bottom line is, check out Culver Props. You'll enjoy seeing how Elena builds the props for the planes, and I'm just sure you'll enjoy it. Okay, moving right along. I said we got a lot of things to talk about. Well, the next thing is to say thank you to Marvin Vanderford from Mississippi. He sent me a giant box of antler. Wow, thank you, Marvin. Golly, you just don't know. You basically saved the day here, because I was really scratching the bottom of the barrel. And one thing I absolutely need to do is make another batch of the antler saddles for the mandolins. Oh my gosh. So thank you, Marvin from Mississippi. I really, really do appreciate it. And if you all have antler that you can afford to send to me, feel free to send it to me. If you trying to save real cost, then you could actually cut them off at about, say 3.5 inches from the short end. See, like there's the long end here and the short end. If you cut them off about 3.5 inches from this short end, and just send me the bottom piece, that's all I really need. The tops I don't need so much because I've got a lot of tops. And like this, and if you can leave the skull plate attached like this, that's even better, because there is quite a bit that goes into the skull there that's solid, and I can use all of that. Send that to me if you can. Well, I spent a lot of time over the weekend cutting firewood. I did that. I cut 2 big loads. Then I started editing the second part of the video on Saturday, and I spent 4 hours on Saturday just editing that video. Then I spent more time yesterday editing the video, and I basically have gotten one pass through the video now. So it's basically finished. I have to go back through it now and proof it and make more editing tweaks and things, which is going to take at least an hour because it's an hour and 10 minutes long. So it's going to take at least an hour and 10 minutes to go through that. And you can't do it in an hour and 10 minutes. So it's going to take at least another 2 or 3 hours to get through it. But I'll get that done, hopefully, maybe yet today, and get that out to you. If not, maybe tomorrow or the next day. I just can't say for sure because my time is so pressed now. I did take off yesterday afternoon late and spend a little time metal detecting. Didn't find very many good finds. I found quite a few bullets and shotgun shells and things like that, like I've been finding. The only thing that's fairly interesting that I found is this, and I'll show it to you. You can probably see there's an H there, and there's a hole in this. Now, you remember I found the hammer that has the H and the S on the end. In fact, I'll show that to you. So I found this hammer, and it has an H on that end and an S on that end. And people said that this is a logging hammer for putting hardwood or softwood. You stamp it on the butt end of the log. So my assumption is, now keep in mind I've also found 8 axe heads, which tells me for sure these people were loggers or something to that effect. I'm assuming that this might be a tag you'd nail on the end of the log to say hardwood, perhaps. That's a total guess too. If anybody has a better idea, let me know. The only thing that bothers me about this is that that's putting a nail in the end of the log and a tag, and so you'd have to pull this off at the sawmill, otherwise you'd be tearing up your blades. And I can't imagine really putting metal in the end of a log. Loggers hate metal in logs. So, I mean, that's what it seems like it would be, though. I mean, I can't figure out anything else that H would stand for, unless this H and that S don't stand for hardwood and softwood, which I'm taking everybody's word for that. And sure enough, when I look out on the internet, I find lots of hammers for logging that have similar letters. I didn't find any hammer that matched this hammer with the H and the S. I found them with other letters on them, though, for logging. If you got a good guess on this, besides what I'm saying, please put that in the comments. I'd love to hear it. The only other news I've got right at the moment is that I'm going to start working on that Dobro hot and heavy today. It's Kraft, or at least that's my plan. I'm planning to first go into the office and handle any orders and things that came in from over the weekend, get all the bookwork caught up, then work on the Kraft, then take a lunch break, and then probably work on the editing, some more editing of that video, or make antler saddles, one of the two. My days are pretty full again since I don't have any help anymore. That's going to be about it for today. Thank you so much for watching. We will see you tomorrow.